Hello and welcome to the Integrity Sports Podcast. As always, we are powered by our friends at Harper's Tree and Stump Removal. If you have any tree trimming, tree removal, or stump removal needs, Harper's Tree and Stump Removal has you covered. In addition to their tree service, they can also haul rock and sand. They do driveway work and can now do horizontal grindings of large wood debris piles. Give Keith a call at 229-314-2048 or at 229-938-2412. Harper's Tree and Stump Removal is proud to be the premier sponsor of the Integrity Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Integrity Sports Podcast, covering local sports in the Southwest Georgia area, creating content that is factual, positive, and informative, promoting efforts by athletes, coaches, and sports administrators. Now, here's your host, Tim Estes.
Thank you. We are live again at the Roman Oven Pizzeria. If you're in this area, we would love for you to come by, have dinner with us, and stay for the show. We're going to preview and review tonight. We'll review the games from last week for Southland Academy, Sumter County High, and Sly County High. All three local area teams are in action this week, so we'll do a preview of that. Also, this afternoon, we'll be joined by Sly County quarterback and Sly County receiver, and we hope that you'll stay around and listen to those guys when they come on. Scott Westbrook's normally here with me. He's watching right now from out in Colorado as his son Carson plays for Coach Prime, Coach Deion Sanders, and they get their season kicked off tonight against North Dakota State. So, Scott, we miss you, but I know you're going to have a good time, and we wish the Colorado Buffaloes the best. Before we get started with our program tonight, whatever platform you're watching, I want to encourage you to please hit the like and share button. We had 2,900 viewers that watched the program last week, and we want to see that continue to grow. One of the best ways you can help us out is watch us on YouTube and hit the subscribe button. We're trying to reach the 1,000 subscriber mark by the end of football season, so please log on to your YouTube account and hit subscribe. We're going to start tonight's program with Southland Academy. Southland last week took on Westfield Academy out of Perry. They lost that contest 47-7, which now puts the Raiders at 0-2. This week it doesn't get much easier as they host the Marion County Eagles. It was another tough week for the Raiders, not only during the ball game as far as the score goes, but also with the injury bug biting again. We reported last week that Southland lost starting quarterback Mac McMichael to an injury, as well as Jack Say, one of their big linemen. This past week, lost another one, and we're going to hope that he gets better. They should get Jack Say back sometime in the next couple of weeks, and maybe that'll help Southland out as well. Here's what happened last week for the Southland Academy Raiders. The first quarter, the scoring got started quickly for Westfield when they scored from 6 yards out on their very first drive of the contest. The PAT was no good, and the Westfield Hornets led 6-0. After a 3-and-out and a punt, on Southland's first drive, Westfield would score again as Neil O'Brien rushed for a 3-yard touchdown. This time the PAT was good, and it was 13-0. That was the score at the end of the first quarter. As we went to the second quarter, Westfield's Nick Free would run it in from 3 yards out. The PAT was good, and it was 20-0 early in the second quarter. Mason Esom, their quarterback, midway through the second quarter, took in a 20-yard touchdown, and the PAT was good. So it was 27-0 toward the end of the second quarter. Brandon Gay, their quarterback, hit Win Hoots with a 33-yard touchdown, and then Westfield went for two. Already up 27-0. This time they went for two, and that 2-point conversion was successful. So it was 33-0 at half. And then in the third quarter, Westfield blocked a Southland punt. Shortly afterwards, Gay found his receiver for a 33-yard touchdown downfield. That made it 40-0. Both Westfield and Southland would go into the fourth quarter and score one additional touchdown, making the final score 47-7. As we told you, Mac McMichael, their quarterback, lost for the season due to injury. Jack Say was out as well. Ethan Beck, their linebacker, was banged up a little bit. We're hoping that they'll get him back in the next day or two. And Slade Griffin was the player that was injured this week. I think it was broken, either a broken ankle or a dislocation, but my understanding is it was a broken ankle or leg. And so we want to wish Slade Griffin the best as well. This week, the Raiders will host the Marion County Eagles, and I'm not quite sure how many players Southland has left. I'm going to guess in that 21 to 22 type range. Marion County surely will come in with many more than that. Marion's also 0-2, so they're hungry to get their first win this week, and hopefully we'll have a good game there. In the previous two seasons, Southland and Marion County have played the last two seasons. They are 1-1 against each other. Kickoff is going to be at 7:30. That'll be at Harvey Simpson Stadium on the campus of Southland Academy. So please make sure and get there and watch that. Again, kickoff 7:30. It won't be on the radio since it's a local game, so you'll have to go to the game to catch that. Each week, our program is brought to you by several sponsors. One of those is One Digital Solutions. One Digital is a steward for business growth and personal development. They solve real issues for your business and for your employees. They do that by fusing together things like employee benefits, HR, and financial services. By doing this, it provides a tech-enabled contemporary work-life experience. It's really everything all in one. It's One Digital. Contact our friend Will Peterson. His number is 229-347-6289. And let One Digital assist you today. So that gets us done with Southland Academy. Again, remember, Raider fans, get there early. Kickoff is at 7:30. We'll go on now to our Schley County Wildcats, and while we do this, we'll get quarterback Blake Weldon to slide in on the set. Let me give you a quick rundown of what Schley County did last week. They defeated Hawkinsville by a score of 47-23. That makes the Wildcats 1-1 on the season, and the Wildcats will host Irwin County on Friday night. The Cats rebounded from a week one loss with a convincing win over a very much improved Hawkinsville team. Quarterback Blake Weldon, that's here beside me, he threw for well into the, I think last count I had, Blake, was 283 yards. There we go. Now we're back. Glad to be joined by Wildcat quarterback Blake Weldon. And Blake, now that you got two games under your belt as the starter, tell me a little bit about how you feel about your performances so far and kind of where this team's at.
I feel like I could have, played better, but that's how I feel every week. Got a place to be, got to get better every week. Our team is playing. Could be playing better, but we're getting better and better every week. So feeling pretty confident in our team right now and how we've been performing.
Blake, as the guy that calls these games on the radio a lot, you're used to calling the same names for about the last 2 or 3 years, but you've got some new guys that are running the football now. We've seen Figueroa back there a good bit. We've seen Kendall run some stuff on the Wildcat. Got to see Amir Nelson this past week that I thought did good. Tell me a little bit about some of those guys around you that you feel like can be playmakers.
Oh, yeah, they're all 3 playmakers. Amir's just our big power back, going to lower his shoulder and fight for yards. And Ken, whenever you get the ball in Ken's hands, Ken's going to do something with it. And Fig's just, Fig's going to hit the hole, going to bounce off the hole, cut back, whatever you need him to do. Fig's going to get us yards. And they're all 3 good runners, and they're all 3 doing really, really good right now.
Blake, we've got a big challenge tomorrow night. Got Irwin County coming in, who's had 2 big wins on the season. Tell me what you know about Irwin County and what it's going to take for us to have a chance to compete.
Well, we're going to need all 11 guys on each side of the ball having to do their jobs correctly. We got to make tackles on defense. We got to block on offense. Got to catch the ball on offense. I got to make the throws, make the right reads. Just everything's got to fall into place, and I think we can do it. Our team is really good. So we got 11 good guys on offense and defense who do their jobs really good. And if we do that, then we're going to come out with a win. And, we know they run a wing T, so just got to tackle the running back. And whenever they pass the ball, they love to give it number 7. So need to stop him on the passing attack.
Blake, you've been able to watch a little film on these guys this week. For those of us that haven't seen the film, what can we expect from Irwin County? What do they come in? Do they run the wing T? Do they throw it? Are they a power team? What is it?
They're really a wing T team, but they will throw it, so we got to watch out for that, which I know our defense is. We're ready for it. Coach Smith's got the team ready for it, so I think we're going to be really good. Got a good performance.
That is Sly County quarterback Blake Weldon. We appreciate him coming by. We're going to get wide receiver Caleb Renfro coming in. And if Wildcat fans, remember our game tomorrow night is at Sly County, a big media game, as a lot of statewide media will come in to watch the Irwin County game. Caleb, one of the interesting things I wanted to talk to you about, I remember not too long ago, you had a brother that was a really good running back, just a tough nut, and now you're kind of following in his footsteps. Does that mean anything to you that you had a brother that came before you?
Yes, sir, it does. I'm just trying to follow in his footsteps and do great things for this football team.
Caleb, it's kind of funny that last week I thought, I remember you when you were in middle school and you weren't near as tall as you are now. And I had to look over in the press box and say, hey, who is that kid, number 18? And Scott Westbrook said, that's Carson. So you got a lot of good things to follow in Carson Westbrook, but you've had 2 good contests, really, being a guy that already is being counted on to be a playmaker. What do you feel like you bring to the team?
I don't know. I like to, just look around the field and see where the ball is, and then where the ball's at, I'm just going to attack. And then I really don't make a lot of solo tackles, but where the pile is, I'm going to try to get to it and help the team out and get the dude down.
I want to kind of ask you the same thing I did Blake. You've been in preparation all week. You've watched film. Coach Alford's got to be one of the best coaches in Southwest Georgia as far as putting together a game plan. What do you see that Irwin County brings that we're going to have to do to be successful against them?
They're going to run the ball hard. They're going to give it to that big old running back, and he's going to run it. He's going to try to run it down our throats. And we need 11 guys to get to the ball and take him down. And then when they pass it, they're going to give it to number 7, I feel like. And I don't know. I don't think they're usually as a film that we saw last year, we went back and watched it from last year. Well, they really ran the ball most of the time, but I think they're going to try to throw it to number 7. And he's a big dude, and we're just going to try to bring him down.
Folks, you can see right there, we got 2 quality student athletes here. So if you're a Sly County fan or just a casual football fan, they would love to have you come out to Ellaville tomorrow night at 7:30. Caleb, thanks for joining me.
Yes, sir.
The Wildcats, let's recap what happened last. Blake Weldon, their quarterback, threw for 283 yards. Kendall Sims had more than 200 all-purpose yards, one with an 85-yard touchdown run on a kickoff return. So after kind of a dismal week 1 performance, Coach Darren Alford's squad made some adjustments and performed much better this week. The Irwin County Indians, coached by former Americus resident Casey Soliday, they'll come into this game with a record of 2-0. They've had 2 very, very impressive wins. Week 1, they beat Fitzgerald, and then in week 2, they had a shootout and won it in the end over Worth County. This program has been one of the top Class A programs in the state of Georgia for a long time. In the first game against Fitzgerald, if you look at the stats, it was a defensive performance. They scored on a scoop and score as well as a pick 6. And then last week against Worth County, it was like neither team could stop the other one, and it was a wild shootout. They had 6 touchdowns rushing on the night and threw for 2 more. So defensively, after being stingy in week 1, the Indians defense gave up 400 plus yards of offense last week to Worth County's offense. So you don't really know what to expect. You got to be prepared for it all. They can run it. They can throw it. They may play good defense. They may not. We just don't know. But kickoff is set for 7:30 at Wildcat Stadium in Ellaville. We hope that you'll be there to watch that. Today's program is also brought to you in part by Marty McDonald State Farm Insurance. They're located at 925 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in Americus. Go by and see Marty, Mary Lynn, or any of their staff and let them discuss your insurance needs. Their phone number, 928-3686. They can even do the famous discount double check to help you savings that are available to us for sponsoring this segment of the Integrity Sports Podcast. And like a good neighbor, State Farm is. Remember, we have the live chat up and running. So if you want to be a part of the live chat, go ahead and type your question in the live chat. We'll try to get to you as well. The Sumter County Panthers, man, they are on a roll. They beat Griffin 31-0 this past week, running their record to 2-0. And this week, the Panthers hit the road as they travel up to Zebulon to take on Pike County. Pike County, not really known as a football school, but they have been so far this year. They are 2-0, and it'll be a challenge for the Panthers that we definitely feel like they are ready for. The Panthers shut out former America's Sumter coach Clifford Fedd as he brought his Griffin Bears back to Americus, only to watch his former squad dismantle his current team. Sumter's riding high as they hit the road this week to Pike County to take on the Pirates. Pike comes in at 2-0. They've got wins over Crawford County and over Haralson County. Sumter scored on an early field goal this past Friday to take a 3-0 lead. Shortly after that, they'd take it in on the ground to make it 10-0. Quarterback Ishmael Jones would then find his receiver to stretch that lead to 17-0 at the half, and Sumter County was basically in control. As they came out in the third quarter, A.J. Kearse would find the end zone, and he'd make it 23-0. Of course, that PAT was good, and that made it 24-0. As they went into the fourth quarter, DeMonte Reeves found the end zone, and that made the score 31-0. The Panther defense, listen to this, the Panthers defense held Griffin to only 7 yards of total offense in the first half. That Panther defense is flying to the football. They got good size, good speed, and their athletes are making plays. The culture continues to build for the Panthers, and the fans are getting more excited about this team. Listen, if you're a Panther fan, don't just come to the home games. Zebulon's not far up the road. Hit Highway 19 and go see Coach Will Rogers and the Sumter County Panthers as they take on Pike County. That kickoff is at 7:30. If you won't be able to make it to the game, it will be broadcast on 94.7 WDEC as Donnie McCrary and Doug Gooden will bring you all the action of Panther football. We are thrilled to see Sumter County doing so well, and we hope you are too. It's time to buy into the Panthers. The Fish House is also a sponsor of the Integrity Sports Podcast. They're located at 224 North Jackson Street in Americus, and they are a staple for the seafood lover in our area. Whether it's fresh fish, shrimp, or oysters in their seafood center, or a hot meal and a cold drink in the Fish House restaurant next door, owner Mark Tyler and his staff want to provide you a delicious meal tonight. Go by and see them today or give them a call. Their number is 924-5177. Mark did want me to tell you they will be glad to do a to-go order for you. Just call that in. They'll get it ready and you can run in and pick it up. But the Fish House, they are proud to sponsor the Integrity Sports Podcast. A few more things before we close tonight. I'm going to go over a few other games in our area. Lee County, the Trojans at 2-0, will travel down to Brody Field in Tifton. They'll take on the Tift County Blue Devils. That'll be at 7:30 on Friday night from Brody Field in Tifton. Taylor County is open this week. They dropped a loss last week to Wheeler County, 14-10. And Macon County travels to Lakeside. Listen to this, folks. If you're a Macon County fan, you may be thinking, okay, we're going to play a team that's 0-2. But Lakeside has lost both of their games to Berkmar and to St. Pius X, all who are great football teams, and it's been close games. So Lakeside DeKalb is going to be a challenge for Macon County. If you're a Bulldog fan, make sure and attend that game. It is time for our predictions of the week. Each week we take our 3 area teams that we focus on and we look at what is the real possibility. Can they win? Will they lose? And we try not to be biased in this. We try to look at the stats, look at the real numbers, and give you an idea of what you can expect. So here we go with that. Southland Academy against Marion County. Both of these teams come into the contest at 0-2. It's no secret that Southland is banged up. They probably go into this game with 20 to 21 players on the active roster. Marion County's got a lot of speed. They got a guy at the quarterback position in Goodrow that's got a lot of experience. Just think that Marion County is going to be a little too much for Southland, especially later in the game as conditioning with 20 or 21 players comes into play. Definitely going to have to go with Marion County getting their first win over Southland Academy. Sly County and Irwin County. At first glance, I really thought that Irwin County would be a big favorite in this. After reading some material this week on the Georgia High School Football Daily and really breaking it down, these two teams are pretty well matched up. Irwin County's got some big wins, and that may play into their favor. On the flip side of that, Sly County is going to be at home where they have been very, very good. If you look at where has Irwin not been good, it's been in the special teams. Their kicker has missed several PATs, and because of that, and because of the fact that it's going to be in Ellaville, I'm going to pick the Wildcats in a very close game. I think it's going to come down to a missed PAT, and we're going to pick the Sly County Wildcats by 1. For Sumter County and Pike County, no question about it, the Panthers are on a roll, and they're on a roll for a good reason. This team is geared to go 9-1, 8-2, maybe even 10-0 if they keep moving in the direction that they're moving in. I don't think Pike County is going to propose any kind of challenge to this defense that's just phenomenal for the Panthers. And Coach Will Rogers has got those guys on a roll, and we're going to pick the Sumter County Panthers by a lot. We want to thank you for making the Integrity Sports Podcast a part of your weekly routine. Make plans to be here next Thursday. Make plans to eat with us. That's part of the fun. If you'll show up about an hour before we go on the air, we'd love to eat with you and talk football and get to know you a little bit. And we want to thank Blake Weldon and Caleb Renfro for stopping by. Each week, we're going to try to have a few of our student athletes, maybe some of our coaches from the area that can come by. Scott, I know it's getting close to kickoff out in Colorado. We want to send a go Buffs to you And for you Sumter County fans, remember your former head coach, Michael Pollock, is on staff with Deion Sanders out in Colorado. And Coach, we want to wish you the best of luck too. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and whatever platform you're on tonight, please hit the like and share button. Thanks again for joining us. We'll be back next week with our buddy Scott Westbrook in tow. For Scott, I'm Tim Estes. Thanks for watching. So long, everybody.